Join me today as I continue working on Santaland and create an enchanting magical garland over the front door. Channel. My name is Joe. Thanks for stopping by today and the continuation of my Christmas 2024 vlog, decorate with me and whatnot. This is vlog number 10 so far. And if you caught my last video, you know that I have now begun decorating downstairs. I'm in the foyer and I'm working on something called Santaland, which is kind of a combination of my Santa Sweet Shop and Santa's office that I've done in the past. In today's episode, I started working on the side where the front door is, with the two closets. If you know me, you know what I'm talking about. The foyer, for those of you that don't know, has 18-foot ceilings in it, and there are these two closets that are on each side of the front door that are like 10 feet up in the air. So I decorate up there, but I also decorate over the door. So today I'm going to be working on that garland that's over the door. And that garland is going to contain lots of lights, red and white lights. It's going to contain red, black, and white ornaments, as well as striped ornaments that kind of look like peppermint a little bit. I used a combination of ribbons. I used a black and white check combined with a solid red, combined with a candy cane stripe kind of a ribbon. And I also used a very small ribbon that is black and white. Looks like little squares. Kind of from far away, it kind of looks like polka dots, but actually it's like little squares. I also added in the whimsical factor in here with the reindeer. They come from Oriental Trading. Actually, they came from when Marianne and I were teachers, and around Christmas time, the Honor Society would, as a fundraiser, would sell candy canes with Christmas messages on them, and there was a reindeer holding on to the candy cane, and it was a very coveted thing to get back then. So we accumulated a bunch of these reindeer. And also, I am using real deer antlers. My sister-in-law, her sister lives on an old Christmas tree farm, and there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of deer there. And she goes out walking in that forest, and she finds the antlers, broken off, and I asked her if she could get me a few, and she got me a whole bin full. So in this garland, I used just 3, but more to come. I'm trying to think. All right, so this was actually a little bit of a challenge because every time, and I always do new things, but sometimes they are a little bit more difficult than others. I had a vision of what I wanted, and I think it came out basically the way I wanted. You let me know, right, in the comments. I'm sure you'll let me know what you think of it. It was labor intensive. I started it yesterday and I finished today. And I know some of you are curious on the hours that go into it. I want to say it had to take about 6 or 7 hours. It took a while. I had to keep stopping because, it's up and down the ladder 8 million times. And then not only that, I have to go upstairs and then up into the attic when I remember something else I want to get, because I don't like to bring a lot of stuff down. I can't stand a mess and clutter and stuff like that. It gives me anxiety. So I actually bring a little basket into the attic and I fill the basket with things I need. I make a list, downstairs of what I need, or what I think I need anyway. And I go upstairs and I fill my little basket like, little Bo Peep. And then I come down and I have what I need, hopefully. So there's a few surprises in it. I hope you like it, and I hope you will stay to the end and watch the whole thing. Like always, it is really nice if you could subscribe to the channel if you just stumbled on me. put the notification bell on. This way you won't miss any of the Christmas stuff. I have so much Christmas stuff coming up. And a comment is always nice. A thumbs up if you think it's worthy is very helpful to me, and sharing it as well. You can find us on Facebook at Life with Marianne and Joe. And you can also find me, although I'm always lax a little bit, on Instagram with designs by _Joe. All right, everybody, stay tuned for this and let me know what you think. Okay, so we're going to start with this garland, which I showed you how I secured this in my last video, which I have OCD about, so I'm really, really on top of how I'm going to secure this thing because it's going to get heavy. Now, this is a bear. This is a bear to do because it's up so high and I have to keep going up and down that ladder, but it gets done. You know, what am I going to say? So you can see how pretty that looks with the red and white. I like that Christmas. Now, here is one of the antlers that my sister-in-law's sister was so kind enough to give us. This is a bigger one, and I'm going to put this right over the center. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I'm using a lot of reindeer stuff on this side of the foyer, and I thought, hey, that's really appropriate, and it looks good. Right underneath those antlers, I put that big bow with just red and the candy cane stripe here. I just used 2 kinds of ribbon, and I had it from last year. Here is the smaller antlers, which are going to go on each side. Now, for the middle, I created this piece. I used that gingerbread little ornament there, and then I did some candy references here, and I made a long dangling ornament that's going to go right underneath the antlers and underneath the bow and hang in that space where the garland, goes up. I also created a list, Santa's list of names, and you're going to see that as a recurring feature throughout the room. On the edges, I put glitter, and I'm showing you how I used a floral wire and punched little holes in there to make it look ruffly and, how it should be looking. Here I am on the one end. I had to create this garland from on one side, and then I had to recreate it again on the other side, which is a little bit of a pain, but at least once I do it, the second time is a lot easier. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I have the 3 ribbons that I told you about, and I'm just pinching them and making a loop, and I'm going to put them all the way over on this left side edge in creating this. I'm going to bring this, I'm going to loop these down the leg of the garland, which extends vertically down to the ground. So right now I'm just separating the 3 ribbons so you see all 3 of them. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ribbon, I'm going to pinch it and go deep into the garland, and then use a sprig of the garland to hold it tight. And I'm going to make like maybe 3 loops there, that they're decent size. Remember, this is garland, this is not the tree. And, this is always a stressful thing for a lot of people, the ribbon, and I try not to let it stress me out. I, don't try to fight with it. I let it almost kind of do what it wants to do, but, in the end, I usually win, not the ribbon. Anyway, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding some embellishments to this corner. I'm adding these sparkly berries, which came from the Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to be adding some red fern-like pieces. They're glittery as well to pick up some light. And a few other red sparkly picks in order to pick up light and make it look more like a fantasy. Now, whenever I have a spot that is kind of like a transition that I can't stand, I use little tiny picks like that one I just did with the red pear on it, or the one with the frosted on it, because what that does is it covers up those spots where you're going from one thought to another, and it looks more professional that way. It should look like one cohesive thing. All right, so a lot of times when I do garland, I use I take the little thing where the hook connects to the ball off, and this way I can slip the ball right on top of the garland. Now, it depends on what kind of garland you have. If you have that really wispy garland, it's not going to work. I don't know. I would kind of leave that not so ornament heavy. This kind of garland I like to hide because it's semi ugly, and the more I put on, the more you don't see it. So it's just there in the background. So you see I'm adding in the ornaments now. I'm actually copying what I did on the other side. Initially, what I have to do is I have to keep putting them in, getting off the ladder and looking at it, going back up again and going off the ladder, and so on until I'm pleased with it. Again, I'm using that little piece right there to hide any transition or anything that's just ugly that we don't want to see. Remember, we're trying to create a fantasy. We're trying to create something magical. You can't see anything obvious. This is really cute. I'm adding these shovels in. I have one on that other side and one on this side. And talk about old. These are from the rag shop. And here are the little reindeer that I told you about that we got from school. And they're from Oriental Trading. I don't even know. They might still sell them. And I tried to put them whimsically in, holding snowballs and, with their legs up, looking like they're flying or dancing and whatnot. I finished the end off with a bow, and there I'm showing you the little black and white checkered ribbon that I put in as well. Now I have this one piece left to do. And once again, I started with a loop and a tuck, and then I swagged it down, and I will continue to put ornaments in there as well as reindeer. I'm showing you he's holding on to the antler up there. And then I finished the bottom off with some icicles. I love that hanging kind of look. And for more whimsy across the top, I put a train up there with reindeer traveling in it. Okay, here it is. Let me know what you think.